Should you date or marry someone who's in debt?
Because most of the ladies out here are trying to marry a rich man. That's what I know. That's what I heard. Right,
Oh.
ladies? Everybody wants the rich guy because
Everybody wants a rich guy, baby.
they don't want to go. They don't want to go through the struggle. All right. They want to marry somebody who's already had built the table, okay, for them. All right, and they just want to lay on the table. However,
with that being said, if someone brings a massive debt into your relationship, is it your responsibility to help pay it off, or is it their problem? On today's conversation, hello everybody. Sani Bunani.
My name is Pumla, the Lady of Power.
And my name is Jave, aka Grandmaster Bugsy.
And together we are
the Boardwalkers.
Let's get it.
Alright, today's conversation is going to be pointing out to, right? Controversy is, should you date or should you marry someone who has debt, right? Should you come in a relationship and be like, oh, how much debt do you have? Oh, I'll help you, right? Is that something that you would do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that it depends on your priorities. Because most of the people, they out here looking for someone who has already established their financial status and stuff like that. And most of I would say most of the relationships I had with people who had already established their financial freedom, it was a bit hard. It was cool at first, like spoiling and stuff like that. But when it goes deep, I felt like I was in a relationship, a controlling situation where, like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can only do this. I didn't feel my freedom at that time. Maybe it was at that time. However, that's how I felt. I felt like there was no equal between us because I was still working to get my freedom, and I was still establishing myself, my mind. However, what was the question again?
The question was, should you date or should you marry someone who's in debt?
However, to answer your question, I think I would marry someone who I like, who meets my requirements, regardless of if they have debts or not, as long as they meet my personal priorities, my personal values. They in my standards in terms of, like, they meet maybe 5 of my requirements, because that's who I need. Sometimes we run and rush for money and we forget that you need to check the mindset, you need to check the values, you need to check the type of person you're putting yourself into. You don't want to run for the money and end up being in an abusive relationship. What about you?
I think it's a gift of gab, man. For me personally, I probably wouldn't date somebody who was in major debt. Right?
That says a lot.
It says a lot, right?
It says so much.
I feel like the nature of a woman is whatever you give her, she will multiply.
That's true.
And if I see certain traits within a woman that carries a lot of luggage, within like a lot of debt, because she doesn't understand the nature of money, and she's wanting me to pay for everything, and just basically be the test dummy.
Yeah.
And the money guinea pig, right? No. So, no, not for me. I wouldn't do it. But I also say gift of gab, because there may be certain things, like if she had a little bit of debt, right, I wouldn't care from that. Like, but if she had like a shit ton of debt, it's like, no, I'm not doing that. But what's going to be really cool about this is that we're going to slap you with a couple scriptures that kind of, right? We're going to slap you with a couple. We're going to slap you with a couple scriptures that kind of like go off into explaining. I had better ones on my phone, but the one that the tablet is generating, we're just going to kind of work with that. It was some good ones that I had picked up. But long story short, I think it's a gift of gab. Like, for instance, I came in our relationship with a little bit of debt, not a lot, right? But even still, then there was traits about me that were more valuable than that little bit of debt that was the focus. You know, it wasn't a major focus on that.
Yeah.
Right. She came in a relationship with a very smidgen of small debt, right?
I didn't have debt.
You had.
I'm kidding. I did. I did. I did. I think it was.
Just the renters, the house. Yeah, that's all. Other than that, like, it wasn't nothing major.
About that.
Right? Yeah, and those are things that we've worked towards and accomplished with combining income and attacking those things. Now, you have some pointers on those scriptures that you want to bring out, or what? I'll give you one first.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, one of them says, okay, it says, no answers. The question that we're reading right here is this one right here. It says da 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 dee da da, and then I said the statement here, and then there it is. All right. Now for this scripture, it goes a little something like this.
Something like this.
Don't look
something
out
like
only.
This. Something like this. Something. Something
Babe,
like.
What the heck? Come on now. Yeah. So I mean, long story short, to wrap it up, should you date or should you marry someone who's in debt? I think it's up to personal preference, and I believe if you like that person, then yeah, you should, or no, you shouldn't, depending on the situation. But I don't believe it should be a worldly mindset when approaching a situation, such as, no, I don't want to do that because you're going to make my credit bad, or whatever the case may be, where it becomes a selfish matter. And I don't think that's the way that it should be. I think that it should be on personal preference. But if they have a ton of debt, I feel like it's, again, personal preference, you know. I don't think you should be getting wrapped up too much in it. I think a lot of this is about helping each other, but it's not also about being gullible. Don't be gullible. Don't be manipulated into things. You gotta weigh a person by their heart. Gullible is like you know something's wrong, but you keep talking yourself out of, like, well, maybe they're a good person, but maybe and then it's like every sign this person gave you has not been a good sign, and you just being gullible because it's either you coming from a place of lack or a place of fear. Stop, little girl. So moving on, point number 2, love versus financial responsibility. Should love mean accepting financial baggage?
No, it shouldn't.
Why?
Because it shouldn't, because oh God, okay. Let me sit straight. It shouldn't,
like,
because
together.
It shouldn't, because I feel like there's no need for the question. Ask the question again.
The question is love versus financial responsibility. Should love mean accepting financial baggage? Should you just accept crap?
Okay. No, because I don't think so. I don't think it should be that way, because you put yourself into those debts, and you shouldn't
expect for someone else to bail you out.
You shouldn't put love in the middle of other people's mistakes. It might be a mistake. They might be fixing that mistake. All you need to do is to have extra crazy communication skills about that situation, and you shouldn't not love someone just because they had made past mistake.
Yeah.
However, you also should be careful on what you put yourself into, as you said about the gullible word, which is you being ignorant. Don't be ignorant just because you're in love. You can literally have communication. If that person is not willing to take the next step, then it's not the person you should be with.
Correct.
Because you both gonna go down. You know that you become the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Correct.
So your partner is the first person, and because you are very super close with your partner. So
she said, what's the question again?
So
yeah, I understand what you mean, though.
Yeah. That's all I wanted to say.
I got you. So sliding on in, what I got my baby saying is, More of the story is that just because we are in love doesn't mean that that is a part of the responsibility when it comes to financial growth. Love can fade. Love is not what keeps a marriage going. Marriage is a business, and you have to be willing to put as much effort you might have to be willing to put as much effort as it is for you to keep up your hygiene, keep up your health. Management is everything, so you have to manage these things within that. And I don't think that love should be a thing that weighs out your financial. But well, you love me. I thought you loved me. You should just help me out with this. Nah, bro. Nah.
Doesn't go like that.
Don't go like that. And the same for the ladies either. No, yeah. I don't think it should be that way either. Right? Especially if her spending habits are trash. I
don't even think you should be with that person anyways.
Yeah, I don't think they are mature enough to understand this, and I think trying to explain things like this is not a good moment at this point. When you say financial baggage, I feel like they are not mature enough to even be in a relationship right now if they have financial baggage.
Maybe they were not what was the word that you used?
Mature?
Mature, yes. Yeah. They were not mature back then, so they made all these mistakes.
Right.
So what I wanted to say was this.
We spend a lot of time on this one.
It might be a person who's working on it.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't affect your love.
Yeah.
It might be a person who's not willing to work on it. They just want you to help, or they just, I don't care. I'm just gonna wait for 7 years.
Right.
Or for 8 years, or yeah.
Yeah, I think those are signs, and being able to articulate that thing and have clarity on that will bring a lot of light and shed a lot of light.
Right.
Point number 2, fairness. If one partner is debt free, is it unfair to expect them to help?
Expectations, no. The expectation word, I will scratch it out over there, because you should be seeking for help. You should be asking questions on how did the person, how did your partner do it, in terms of how did you become debt free?
Correct.
How did you do it? It's so difficult and stuff like that. Seek help. Okay. Right. Ask for help, which is more understandable, and it's more like, okay, if I'm willing to help, I'm gonna help. Or you can wait for your partner to literally say, let me help you with that. Let me show you how to do it, or we can do it together, because we have so much goals to achieve. We have a 10-year plan that's waiting for us, but we're not moving because of these debts that you have, and so on and so forth. I think it is important for you to not expect anything, because you're the one who put yourself into this, so you're the one who got to take yourself out of it.
Right. I believe it is unfair to have expectations on your partner and to put that much pressure on them to make them feel like they're obligated to help you because they are debt free. That's not true. You do have to be a seeker, because they could have given you 2 books or a book to read about financial because they saw that you were struggling, and what you didn't do was probably take the initiation to read the book, to actually take notes and say, hey, I read that book, or I'm halfway in, I got a lot of notes and I got a lot of questions. I know you already debt free, so let me go ahead and let me ask you a couple questions. When you free, baby? See what I'm saying? And when you can focus on being better first, then people will automatically give you things because they already see you initiating the action first. Right? So moving on to point number 3, power imbalance. What does this mean? If one partner pays off another's debt, does that create control issues?
Say that again.
And the thunder smack. All right. I said power imbalance. So if one partner pays off another's debt, so if I was to pay off your debt, you was to pay off my debt, does that basically create control issues? Like if a person well, I did this for you, and you should definitely kiss my toes because I paid all your debt off. You're forever in my grasp. I
don't think so.
You minion. All right.
I don't think control you should be controlled just because of that.
Absolutely not.
I think you should be grateful that you were given that power to do that. And also
Uh-oh. That was a long sigh, y'all.
Also, I would say that
for a moment.
as much as you shouldn't expect for someone to do anything for you, right?
Yeah.
If you pay a debt for your partner, if you're helping your partner out because you're in a position, that doesn't mean that they're gonna stay down there. That doesn't mean that the tables are not gonna turn, because you might be controlling right now just because you got it all figured out, but you don't know what God has planned for me. And you don't know the reason why God said, pay that debt for him, because I'm about to blow you guys up. Just because just because you did that for him, now that creates connect, trust, and so on and so forth. I'm about to blow you guys up. And that's going to be all under him. That's going to be his work. That's going to be his name. That's going to be his greatness. And that greatness includes you, because you were there before he or she was here.
She got distracted by the dog, y'all.
Which is yeah.
But I get what you're saying. Long story short, I feel like in any obligation, when you have a person who feels like they're positioned in that way to start having control and having control issues, it just gives you more character about who that person is.
Right.
And it also gives you trigger warnings to let you know that this is not a healthy relationship. So I think you should do your best to paying back that debt, give them back so you can release yourself from that, and then also move around, right? You know, play it off if you have to, depending on what type of situation you're in, but for males versus males versus females, if vice versa, swappity swap, and it's like on the other end, you know, I'd say like just get on out of that, work your way around. But those are evidence, and you need those evidence a lot of the time so you can know what type of person you are dealing with. Moving on.
Let's go.
Prenups. Make sure you hit her with the prenup. Then tell that man to ease up. All right, so prenups and financial barriers. Should couples legally protect themselves from each other's financial past? Can you read that one more time?
Can you read it one more time?
No, you can read it one more time. So do you believe that people should protect themselves, or couples should protect themselves with a prenup from their significant other's financial past? For instance, what they do have or what they don't have.
So I should protect. So what you're saying is I should protect myself from your financial mistakes that you did
maybe
before.
You have over $1.6 billion, and I'm a guy who doesn't have that much, right? And marriage, when you get married, most of your assets are basically my assets, right? But let's say, for instance, I create a scenario. Most people want to protect their assets, so you create a sweet case scenario where we don't work no more, right? And then I'm like, yo, I want half. I've been here with her. I want half of what she got. She came in and 1.something billion, break it in half, baby, right? And then because you didn't do a prenup, now I have access to your earnings of what you already worked towards before you got in this relationship.
What is a prenup?
A prenup is a protection against your assets before you got into the relationship, before you got married.
I think that's important.
So you release your rights as the wife or the husband. You release your rights to say that you have rights over their assets.
You have rights over.
You release your rights to say you have rights.
I have rights over my assets.
No.
Or the other person.
Yes.
Okay.
So like, for instance, if I had $1.7 billion and I was a millionaire and I just balling, right?
Right.
You came in and you like, hey, I'm like, yeah, I like you.
And then now I'm like,
now we married. Now we about to get married. I'm like, oh, you gonna have to sign that prenup, baby. Yeah. Maybe it's something that not work out. I need you to go ahead and check that out. I don't need you taking all my money, you know.
Okay.
I had this before you came in. Maybe I need you to sign a prenup.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a very hard question to because relationships are different, right?
Yeah.
And yes, you can do that to protect yourself, especially if you don't know who you're getting married to, because sometimes we just get into this love thing all blindfolded and stuff like that. We don't have no requirements and so on and so forth. So you don't know who you're getting married to, go ahead and
make sure you hit her with the
prenup. And another thing is that sometimes you might not need to do that because the opposite person maybe let me say you guys date for about 5 years. Yes, you did have your wealth, but you guys are still dating, and this is a good person, and so on and so forth. I don't think you would need that. However, it's always good to be protected, especially if you have kids outside the marriage, because you don't want this person taking all the money and then your kids are left with nothing after you have worked so hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on to our last and final. Would you walk away if you found out that your significant other had $50K in debt? Right? If they were $50,000 in debt, would that be a deal breaker for you? Now, two, with that being said, you found out in the midst of your relationship, or you found out in the beginning of the relationship. Two different scenarios. Make it short and sweet.
Oh, damn. Okay. If I find out in the midst of the relationship, I would say if you qualify being in a relationship with me, if you qualify all the requirements that I have, the requirements above, you will just have to put your ish together, because we're not getting married until you get that shit done. We can wait. If you can propose today and we gotta wait for 5 years with the proposal ring, I don't care. Yeah. As long as we get that shit together, right? As long as we get that $50K paid, right? If I care about you, if I love you, of course we can, work a plan on how we can, or you execute can pay that, or we can do it together, because we have we in the relationship and we have big plans and so on and so forth. If it's a beginning of the relationship, I would definitely also check if my requirements, if you hit all my requirements, then we can work on it, because your mindset is at the level of like, okay, I have a $50K debt, what do I do? At least it's not $1 million debt. Let's work on it. Let's see how we can pay it off. You can take double, triple shift if you have to.
It's a one of a kind, yeah.
You can take double, triple shift if you have to, and work so that we can pay this off. I can take care of other stuff while you take care of your debts, as long as you're debt free, because I'm debt free and I don't want this, affecting our relationship. Let's get to work.
Yeah, I say the same, and then also too, just depends, man. 50K, finding out that in the beginning from a woman, I would have to do serious analyzation of her character, her being, her essence, what she's working on, what she is in the mindset of, and all these things have to line up as far as that she understands the next best thing. And I don't really have to say too much, and I see her already having the character, the integrity, the movement, the way of being. The force is with her, right? I'm down. Yeah, it's like 50K. Yeah, we down, we in. But if it ain't that, and it's like I like her a lot, and it's woo-woo-y, and it's not like it's not like really solid, and it's like no, I wouldn't necessarily. It'll be probably a deal breaker. Depends on a lot of circumstances, right? Yeah. The cool thing I like real quick is that God never chooses your loved one or your significant other. He prances them in front of you for you to have the willpower to make your own decision. Yeah. And so you can take the gift of gab of a lot of things, right? Mm-hmm. And so understanding that, if this information has definitely blessed you and definitely been of value, please please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell notifications to receive more of our content. And with that being said, thank you, Lock Fam Kingdom citizens, for stay tuning and enjoying our content and sharing the love. We see you having all the good you desire. And with that being said, stay locked in.
God vibes only.
One up.
E joga, e joga.